Thousands of Spanish students have rallied in central Madrid against sex education plans by the right-wing Vox party. Demonstrators chanted feminist slogans and carried banners denouncing the so-called parental veto. Under Vox's proposal, parents would have to give permission for children to join school workshops perceived as ideological. That would include classes on sex education, gender and other issues like climate change. So far, only the region of Murcia has introduced the plans. It's been condemned by the national government, but local authorities are refusing to repeal the move.
We will not do it because it says the government does not believe in what we believe in, namely the freedom of fathers and mothers.
A homophobic family does not have the right to make their children homophobic as well. Parental authority cannot be confused with property.
In the UK too, LGBT education sparked a furious backlash. From September, classes covering the issue will become compulsory there, and that's triggered protests among parents, particularly from religious communities. We put the issue of sex ed in schools up for debate with Christian Concern member Michael Phillips and human rights campaigner Peter Tatchell.
I think it's absolutely right that parents do have a right to teach their own children according to their beliefs, but the education system has a responsibility to give children a comprehensive education and to give them information to safeguard their health and welfare.
To say that the state must come in and muscle into an area which parents have been doing extremely well for thousands of years is just simply, it's not good. The primary responsibility, in fact, rests with the parents, and parents do have the right to opt out of sex education.
A majority of parents think it is the responsibility of the schools to do that. They are happy and content for that. And if we look around the world, in every country where there are repressive anti-sex laws and low-quality sex and relationship education, the levels of teenage pregnancies and abortions are much, much higher.
Michael, as long as these classes are done thoughtfully and they're not indoctrinating children, what's the problem here?
The programmes which encourage more knowledge and more explicit knowledge were completely and utterly counterproductive. Whereas those which encouraged abstinence and people waiting so that they engage in sexual activity when they are ready and mature, those were the programs which were seen to be the best for teenagers.
Uganda, quite a long time ago, abandoned sex education and went for abstinence only to discourage young people from having sex. The end result was increased teenage pregnancies and rocketing levels of HIV.
Comparing what happens in this country to Uganda is comparing apples and pears. Completely inappropriate comparison, I would suggest. Ever since we have seen the introduction of sex education in this country as something which is compulsory since 1973, unfortunately there has been an unmitigated disaster which has happened in this country. We have seen STDs in teenagers and young people go up, we've seen abortion go up, we've seen all social indicators of bad things that happen to young people have risen in relation to sexual matters.
It is proven throughout the world that early, good quality, age-appropriate relationship sex education does actually work.
What the educators, the people who know what they're talking about, and they've studied this going back for decades, that really the abstinence and waiting and respecting yourself, these are the programs which work best and are the most healthy and which lead to the best and most prosperous society and ultimately what's in the best interest of every child.